The alarm woke Ho from a dreamless sleep. He rolled out of his small bed and walked to the control room of his ship. The screen showed a distress signal coming from somewhere close. He rubbed his eyes and looked at the location. It was in neutral space, about 2 hours away. Ho was a salvage operator. He collected broken ships and sold the parts. It was not exciting work, but it paid enough. He had been doing this job for 5 years now, ever since he left the military. He liked the quiet. He liked being alone. The distress signal was coming from a ship. Ho knew about everyone did. They were an ancient race that ruled a large part of the galaxy. They were beautiful, powerful, and they thought humans were primitive. Most would not even look at a human. They believed they were better than everyone else. Ho should have ignored the signal. They had their own rescue ships. They did not need help from a human salvage operator flying a ship held together with tape and hope. But something made him change his course. Maybe it was his old military training. Maybe it was simple curiosity. He did not know. 2 hours later, he found the wreckage. The cruiser was destroyed. Pieces of it floated in the darkness of space like broken glass. Ho had seen many wrecked ships before, but this was different. This ship had been attacked. He could see the burn marks from weapons fire. Someone had wanted this ship dead. He flew his small vessel slowly through the debris. His scanner searched for life signs. For a long time there was nothing. Then a small beep, one life sign, weak but alive. Ho found the source. It was in the middle section of the destroyed ship, a room that had somehow stayed together when everything else fell apart. He brought his ship close and connected to the broken hull. The air inside might be bad, so he put on his breathing mask and grabbed his tools. The inside of the ship was dark and cold. Emergency lights flickered red. Ho followed his scanner through twisted metal hallways. The built beautiful ships he noticed. Even destroyed, he could see the elegant designs on the walls. But beauty did not matter now. Only the life sign mattered. He found the room. The door was stuck, bent by the damage. Ho took out his cutting tool and began to work. The metal was strong, stronger than human metal. It took him a long time just to make a small hole. Through the hole he heard something, a voice, weak and scared. "Hello," Ho called out. "Can you hear me? I am here to help." The voice answered in a language he did not understand at first. Then it switched to basic Galactic Common. "Please, I am trapped. The ceiling fell." "I know," Ho said. "I am cutting through the door. It will take time. Are you hurt?" "Yes, my leg. I cannot move it." Ho worked faster. His arms began to hurt. Sweat ran down his face inside his mask. The cutting tool grew hot in his hands, but he did not stop. Hours passed, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. Ho's body screamed at him to rest. He ignored it. The voice on the other side grew weaker. Sometimes it stopped talking completely, and Ho would call out until it answered again. "Stay with me," he said. "Talk to me. What is your name?" The voice said, "My name is." "That is a nice name. I am Ho. Just a little more, I am almost through." 6 hours after he started, the door finally opened. Ho pushed through and found her. She was young. At least she looked young by human standards, aged differently. She had silver hair that floated around her face, and her skin was pale blue like a winter sky. Her eyes were large and golden, filled with pain and fear. A metal beam lay across her leg, trapping her to the floor. Ho did not stop to stare. He moved to the beam and studied it. It was heavy but not impossible. He positioned himself and lifted with all his strength. His back screamed. His muscles burned, but the beam moved just enough. "Now," he said through his teeth, "move now." Pulled herself free. She cried out in pain, but she was free. Ho let the beam fall and dropped to his knees, breathing hard. For a moment they just looked at each other. A human and two species that had never been friends. "You saved me," said. Her voice was full of wonder. "Why?" "Because you needed help," Ho said simply. He did not understand the question. But I am your people and mine. We are not allies. Ho shrugged. You were dying, that is all that mattered. He helped her stand. Her leg was badly hurt but not broken. She leaned on him as they walked slowly back to his ship. She was light, almost weightless. Bones were different from human bones, he remembered. On his ship, Ho set her down on his bed. It was the only comfortable place. He found his medical kit and began to treat her wounds. The cuts were easy. The leg was harder. He did his best with what he had. This is not a royal medical center, he said, but it will keep you alive until we find one. Watched him work. No one had ever touched her like this before, without ceremony, without fear, without asking permission. On her home world, people bowed before coming near her. They spoke in formal words and kept their eyes down. This human did none of that. He just helped her like it was the most normal thing in the world. You do not know who I am, she said quietly. You said your name is. I am Princess, daughter of Queen, third in line to the throne of the Empire. Ho paused for a moment, then he continued wrapping her leg. That is nice. Do you want water? You should drink something. Stared at him. Did you hear what I said? Yes, you are a princess. He handed her a bottle of water. Drink, you lost blood, you need fluids. You do not care. Ho sat back and looked at her. His face was tired but kind. I care that you are hurt. I care that you are thirsty. I do not care about titles. They do not make your leg heal faster. Took the water. Her hands were shaking. She drank slowly, watching this strange human who had spent 6 hours cutting through metal to save her, who treated her wounds with gentle hands, who offered her water and did not bow. Thank you, she said. It was the first time in her life she had truly meant those words. Ho smiled. It was a small smile, tired but real. Rest now, princess. We have a long journey ahead. Closed her eyes. For the first time since the attack, she felt safe. Safe in the tiny ship of a human salvage operator who wanted nothing from her. She did not understand him at all, but she wanted to, woke to the sound of alarms. Red lights flashed across the small cabin. She sat up quickly and felt pain shoot through her leg. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then she remembered the attack, the wreckage, the human who saved her. She found Ho in the control room. He was staring at the screen with a serious face. His hands moved quickly over the controls. What is happening? She asked. We have company, Ho said. He did not look away from the screen. 3 ships, they are coming fast. Moved closer and looked at the screen. Her blood turned cold. She recognized the ship designs. Raiders, she whispered. The same ones who attacked my cruiser. I thought so. Ho's voice was calm, too calm for someone facing 3 enemy ships. They must have been waiting. They knew someone would come for survivors. They want me, said. For ransom. My mother would pay anything to get me back. Then we will not let them take you. Looked at him like he was crazy. Your ship has no weapons. I saw when I came aboard. You have nothing but a cutting tool and some old machines. I have enough. Ho finally looked at her. His eyes were steady. Sit down and hold on to something. This will not be comfortable. The 3 raider ships were getting closer. On any normal day, this fight would already be over. The raiders had weapons, speed, and numbers. Ho had a salvage ship that was older than he was, but Ho was not a normal salvage operator. Before he collected broken ships, he was a military engineer. He knew how things worked. More importantly, he knew how to make things work differently. He pushed his ship toward the debris field. The wreckage of his cruiser was still floating in space. Thousands of pieces of metal and glass, spinning slowly in the darkness. What are you doing? Asked. We should run, jump to another system. The jump drive needs 20 minutes to charge. We do not have 20 minutes. Ho flew into the debris field. So we hide. The raiders followed, but they were careful now. The debris was dangerous. One wrong move and they would crash into floating metal. They slowed down, trying to find Ho's small ship among all the wreckage. Ho used this time. He worked on his control panel, connecting wires and changing settings. Did not understand what he was doing. "I am making false signals," he explained without stopping his work. "I will make them think we are in 3 different places." "That is impossible. You need special equipment for that." "I need creativity." He smiled a little. "Humans are good at that." Minutes later, the raiders saw 3 signals on their screens. 3 small ships, all moving in different directions. They split up to chase each one. It was exactly what Ho wanted. But one raider was smarter than the others. He did not follow the false signals. He used his eyes instead of his machines, and he found the real ship. "He sees us," said, fear in her voice. The raider ship was coming directly at them. Ho did not panic. He flew deeper into the debris, twisting and turning between broken pieces of metal. The raider followed. He was getting closer. His weapons began to charge. "He will shoot us," said. "Not yet." Ho was watching something on his screen, waiting for something. The raider fired. Green light shot toward them. Ho pulled his ship hard to the left. The shot missed, hitting a large piece of debris instead. The explosion sent more wreckage flying everywhere. "That was close," breathed. "It will get closer." The chase continued. The raider fired again and again. Ho dodged every shot but barely. His old ship screamed with the effort. Warning lights appeared on his control panel. The ship was not built for this kind of flying. Then Ho saw what he was waiting for. A large section of the destroyed cruiser, still mostly whole. It had a cargo bay with doors that were half open. "Hold on," he said. "This is the crazy part." This was not the crazy part. Grabbed her seat. Ho flew straight toward the cargo bay. The opening was barely big enough for his ship. The raider followed, thinking he had trapped them, but Ho did not slow down. He flew inside the broken cargo bay at full speed. Inside it was dark. Ho turned off his engines. The ship floated in silence. Through a crack in the hull, he watched the raider stop outside. The enemy was confused. He could not see inside the dark cargo bay. He did not know if Ho was waiting with a weapon or if he had crashed. Slowly, the raider moved closer to look inside. Ho's hands were on a different control now, the cargo bay of his own ship. "What are you doing?" whispered. "Something stupid." He opened his cargo bay doors. All the air inside rushed out into space. The force pushed his ship backward, out of the broken cargo bay, spinning wildly. At the same moment, the rushing air and debris hit the raider ship that had come too close. The raider lost control. He crashed into the wall of the cargo bay. His ship exploded in a ball of fire. Ho fought to control his spinning ship. His hands moved fast, firing small bursts from different parts of the ship, slowly stopping the spin. It took almost a minute before they were stable again. "You used air as a weapon," said. She could not believe what she had just seen. "Air, fire, water, rocks. Humans have been using everything as weapons since we lived in caves." Ho checked his screens. "The other 2 raiders are coming back. They know we killed their friend." The jump drive. 8 more minutes. 8 minutes. 2 enemy ships. No weapons. No more tricks in the cargo bay because all the air was gone now. Ho thought for a moment. Then he started working again. "What now?" asked. "Now we make them angry." He sent a message to the raider ships. A simple message with a simple picture. A human hand with one finger raised. Did not understand the gesture, but apparently the raiders did. They came at full speed, firing wildly. "Why did you make them angry?" shouted over the sound of explosions around them. "Angry people make mistakes." He was right. The raiders were so focused on killing them that they stopped being careful. They flew too fast. They fired too much. And they stopped watching each other. Ho led them through the densest part of the debris field. He twisted and turned, letting them get close but never close enough. One raider got too eager. He tried to cut Ho off and flew directly into the path of the other raider's weapon's fire. His ship exploded instantly. Now there was only one enemy left, but this one was careful now. He hung back, waiting for a clear shot. 2 minutes, said, watching the jump drive charge. 2 minutes felt like 2 hours. The raider fired carefully aimed shots. Ho dodged them, but each dodge was harder than the last. His ship was damaged. It was slowing down. 1 minute. A shot hit them. The ship shook violently. Alarms screamed. Smoke filled the control room. 30 seconds. Another shot. Something in the back of the ship exploded. They were falling apart. 10 seconds. The raider had a clear shot. He aimed directly at the control room. Ho could see the weapons charging. Now. Ho hit the jump button. Space twisted around them. For a moment everything was light and color and noise. Then they were somewhere else, somewhere far away, somewhere safe. Ho fell back in his chair. His whole body was shaking. Smoke was everywhere. Half his controls were broken, but they were alive. Was staring at him. Her golden eyes were wide. You flew through a debris field with no weapons. You killed one raider with air. You tricked 2 others into destroying themselves. You did all of this with a broken ship and no plan. Ho coughed from the smoke. I had a plan. What plan? Do not die, he smiled weakly. Simple plans are best. Started laughing. She could not help it. She laughed until tears ran down her face. This human, this crazy, impossible human, had saved her life twice in one day. My people have ruled space for thousands of years, she said. We have technology you cannot imagine, but I have never seen anyone fight like you. Ho shrugged. Humans are stubborn, we do not like losing. I am beginning to understand that. The ship was damaged badly, but it could still fly. Ho set a course for space. It would take 3 days. 3 days alone with a princess who looked at him like he was the strangest thing in the universe. He did not know what would happen when they arrived. He did not care. Right now, he just wanted to sleep. And maybe fix the hole in his ship. The border was marked by a line of massive stations that floated in the darkness of space. Each station was bigger than any human city. They glowed with soft blue light, beautiful and terrible at the same time. Ho's damaged ship looked like a piece of garbage next to them. Before they even reached the first station, they were surrounded. 20 warships appeared from nowhere, their weapons pointed at Ho's small vessel. Each warship was sleek and elegant, designed to kill with grace. Do not move, a voice said over the communication system. You have entered space. Identify yourself or be destroyed. Pushed herself up from her seat. Her leg was better now, but still weak. She moved to the communication panel. This is Princess, daughter of Queen, third heir to the throne. I am returning home. The human pilot has saved my life. You will not harm him. There was a long silence. Then the voice returned, different now, respectful, afraid. Princess, we thought you were dead. The Queen has been. Please follow us. We will escort you home. The warships changed formation. They surrounded Ho's ship, but protectively now, like guards. Ho leaned back in his chair and watched the massive vessels fly beside him. Your people do not do anything small, he said. Smiled a little. We have had a long time to build things. The journey to the throne world took 2 more days. They passed through systems that made Ho feel very small. Planets covered in cities. Space stations that held millions of people. Ships of every size, all moving in perfect order. Watched him look at everything. What do you think? She asked. It is impressive, Ho admitted, but it feels quiet. Quiet. Like a museum, everything is perfect. Nothing is messy. Where I come from, things are messy. People argue. They build things that do not match. They make mistakes. He shrugged. It feels more alive. Did not know what to say. She had never thought of her home as a museum before. The throne world was the heart of the empire. It was a planet of endless white buildings and crystal towers. Everything sparkled in the light of 3 suns. Ho had never seen anything so beautiful, or so cold. They landed in a royal port. Before the ship's door even opened, servants appeared. Doctors rushed to check on. Soldiers stood in perfect lines. Officials bowed low. Ho stayed in his ship, watching through the window. This was not his world. He did not belong here. But then turned around. She looked at him through the crowd of servants. "Come," she said, "my mother will want to meet you." "I should probably stay with my ship. It needs repairs and—" That was not a request, but she smiled when she said it. "Please, you saved my life. Let me at least introduce you properly." Ho sighed. He was wearing dirty work clothes. He had not showered in 3 days. He probably smelled like smoke and engine oil, but he followed her anyway. The palace was like nothing he had ever seen. Walls of pure crystal that showed the sky. Floors so clean he could see his reflection. Pillars that reached up forever. Everything was white and silver and blue. Guards in perfect armor stood at every corner. Servants tried to clean him up as they walked. They wiped his face, fixed his hair, tried to give him better clothes. Ho let them do what they wanted. He did not care about how he looked. Finally, they reached the throne room. The doors were 30 meters tall. They opened slowly, revealing a hall of impossible size. And at the end, on a throne made of light itself, sat Queen. Ho had seen pictures of before. He knew they were considered beautiful by many species, but pictures did not prepare him for the Queen. She was ancient. He could feel it. Thousands of years of life burned behind her golden eyes. Her silver hair fell like water around her shoulders. Her skin was pale blue like her daughter's, but smoother, more perfect. She wore a dress that seemed to be made of starlight. But it was not her beauty that struck him. It was her presence. She filled the room without moving. Everyone around her seemed smaller, less real. Walked forward and knelt before her mother. "My queen, I have returned." Rose from her throne. She moved like music, each step graceful and precise. She took her daughter's hands and lifted her up. "My child." Her voice was soft but carried through the entire hall. "I thought I had lost you." "You almost did, but this human saved me," turned to Ho. "He cut through metal for 6 hours to free me. He fought raiders with no weapons. He brought me home." Every eye in the room turned to Ho. He felt very small, very dirty, very human. Queen looked at him. Her eyes studied him like he was a strange animal, not with disgust, not with gratitude, with curiosity. "Come forward, human." Ho walked. His boots made ugly sounds on the perfect floor. He stopped a few meters from the Queen. He did not bow. He did not know if he should, so he just stood there meeting her eyes. "You saved my daughter's life," said. "The Empire pays its debts. Name your reward." "I do not need a reward," Ho said. The room went silent. Advisors looked at each other in confusion. This was not how things were done. "Everyone wants something," the Queen said. Her voice was still soft, but there was an edge to it now. "Do not play games with me, human. I am offering you anything. Wealth beyond your imagination. A ship that would make you the envy of your species. Citizenship in my empire with all the rights that brings. Name your price." Ho thought for a moment. "My ship needs repairs, and I could use a shower, but other than that I am fine." More silence. Someone in the crowd made a choking sound. Queen tilted her head. "You spent 6 hours cutting through metal. You fought 3 ships with no weapons. You nearly died bringing my daughter home, and you want a shower. And the repairs. The ship is really damaged." The Queen stepped closer. She was tall, taller than him. She looked down at him with those ancient golden eyes. "Why?" she asked. The question was simple but heavy. Ho shrugged. "She needed help. I was there, that is all." That is not an answer. Everyone has motives. Everyone wants something. Power, money, status. What do you want, human? Ho looked at her, really looked at her. Behind the beauty and the power he saw something else, confusion. She genuinely did not understand him. "Where I come from," he said slowly, "we have a saying. Sometimes the right thing to do is just the right thing to do. There does not need to be a reason. Your daughter was trapped. She was going to die, so I saved her. That is it. That is the whole story." Stared at him for a long time. No one in the room moved. No one breathed. Then slowly she smiled. It was a real smile, a surprised smile, like she had just discovered something wonderful and strange. "You are a very strange creature, Ho. I have been told that before." The queen laughed. It was a small laugh, barely more than a breath, but the advisors gasped, the servants froze. Eyes went wide. Later, she would tell Ho that her mother had not laughed in 40 years. "Give him whatever he needs," said to her servants. "The best room, the best food, the best mechanics for his ship." She looked at Ho one more time. "And when he is rested, bring him to me. I have more questions for this human who wants nothing." She returned to her throne. The audience was over. As servants led Ho away, he glanced back. The queen was watching him. Her smile was gone now, replaced by something else, something hungry. Caught up to him in the hallway. "You impressed her," she said quietly. "I do not think that is good." "It is not. My mother collects interesting things. Art, technology, people." Looked worried. "I think she has decided you are interesting." Ho sighed. "I just wanted to fix my ship." "I know, that is what makes you interesting." Touched his arm gently. "Be careful, Ho. My mother is not cruel, but she is not kind either. She is something older and stranger. And right now she is curious about you." "What happens when she stops being curious?" Did not answer. She did not need to. That night, in a room bigger than his entire ship, Ho lay awake and stared at the crystal ceiling. He thought about the queen's smile, her hungry eyes. He had survived raiders and debris fields, but he had a feeling that surviving the queen would be much harder. Ho spent 3 days on the throne world. His ship was repaired better than new. The mechanics were amazed that it had even flown at all. They called it a miracle of bad engineering. Ho just called it home. On the 4th day he left, came to see him off. She looked sad but did not ask him to stay. She understood. He was not made for crystal palaces and perfect silence. "Thank you," she said, "for everything. Take care of yourself, princess." And just, he smiled, "Take care of yourself." He flew away from the throne world and returned to his old life. Salvage work in the outer rim. Quiet days and quiet nights. Empty space and broken ships. It was peaceful. It was lonely. It was exactly what he wanted. Or so he thought. 3 weeks later, a royal ship found him. It was small but elegant, clearly. It matched his speed and flew beside him. "Ho," a voice said over the communication system. "You have been summoned by Queen. You will come with us." Ho frowned. "Summoned for what?" "The Queen wishes you to serve as a cultural consultant." "A what?" "A cultural consultant. You will help the court understand human customs and thinking." Ho laughed. "I am a salvage worker. I dig through garbage for a living. I am not a diplomat." "The Queen has made her choice. You will come." It was not a request. Ho argued, he complained, he even tried to fly away, but more ships appeared. Not threatening, just waiting, blocking every direction. It was clear he had no choice. So he followed them back to the throne world. The queen greeted him in a private garden. It was the most beautiful place he had ever seen. Flowers that glowed with inner light, trees that sang when wind touched them, a small stream that flowed upward instead of down. Sat on a simple bench, dressed in clothes that were less formal than before. She looked almost normal, almost approachable, almost human. She was none of those things. "Thank you for coming," she said. "Did I have a choice?" "No," she smiled that strange smile. "Sit with me." Ho sat. The bench was made of something soft that adjusted to his body. Even the furniture here was perfect. "Why am I here?" he asked directly. He had no patience for games. "I told you I have questions. About human culture. About humans, about you." She turned to look at him. "You have been in my thoughts since you left. I cannot stop thinking about what you said, about how saving my daughter was simply the right thing to do. It was the truth. I know that is what fascinates me." She looked at the garden. "I have lived for 3,000 years, Ho. I have met countless species. Everyone has motives. Everyone wants power or wealth or pleasure or safety. Everyone can be understood through their wants. And humans are different. You are different, your whole species is. Confusing." She stood and walked to a tree. "Your people are young, weak. You have no natural weapons. You cannot even survive in most environments without machines. By all logic, you should have died out long ago. But we did not." "No, you did not. You spread across your world. You fought and killed and built and dreamed. You reached for stars that should have been impossible, and now you are everywhere, growing, expanding, refusing to stay in your place." She touched the tree gently. "My advisors say humans are like a disease. They say we should contain you before you become a threat." "And what do you say?" Was quiet for a moment. "I say you are the most interesting thing to happen in 1,000 years." Over the following weeks, Ho became a regular visitor to the Queen's private chambers. She asked him endless questions about human wars. Why did humans fight so much? About human art. Why did humans create things that had no purpose? About human love. Why did humans bond so strongly with others? Ho answered as best he could. He was not a philosopher or a scholar. He was just a man who fixed broken ships. But the Queen listened to every word like it was precious. "Tell me about human families," she said one day. "What about them? How do they work?" Families are based on bloodlines and inheritance, political arrangements, but human families seem different. Ho thought about his own family. His mother who worked 3 jobs to feed him. His father who taught him to fix machines. His grandmother who told him stories every night. "Human families are messy," he said. "Sometimes they are blood, sometimes they are choice, sometimes they are both. We fight with each other, we say terrible things, but when something bad happens we come together, we protect each other. Even if we hate each other, we still love each other." He paused. "That probably does not make sense." "It does not, but somehow I understand," smiled. "Your species is full of contradictions. You hate and love. You destroy and create. You are selfish and generous. How do you survive when you are at war with yourselves?" "I do not know. Maybe that is the point. We are never finished. We are always becoming something new." The Queen was silent for a long time after that. While Ho spent his days with the Queen, watched from afar, she saw how her mother looked at the human, not with love, not exactly, with something more dangerous, obsession. One night found Ho in the garden alone. He was looking at the stars. "You should leave," she said. "I have tried. Your mother has eyes everywhere." "I do not mean the planet. I mean this situation. My mother is becoming attached to you." Ho turned to look at her. "What does that mean?" Sat beside him. In the starlight she looked younger, more vulnerable. "My mother does not just collect knowledge, she collects people. When she finds something interesting, she keeps it, sometimes gently, sometimes not." She looked at him with worried eyes. "You are not a pet, Ho, but I am afraid she might try to make you one." "I am not easy to keep." "I know, that makes it worse. If she cannot keep you, she might try to change you, or break you," touched his hand. "I owe you my life. I do not want to see you destroyed by my mother's curiosity." "What do you suggest?" "I do not know, but please be careful. Do not give her too much. Do not let her see everything you are." Ho looked at the princess. She was afraid for him, genuinely afraid. It was strange to see her show such emotion. "Why do you care what happens to me?" he asked. Pulled her hand back. "You are the first person who ever treated me like a normal being, not a princess. Not a political tool, just a person who needed help. She stood up. That matters, you matter. She walked away before he could respond. Ho sat alone in the garden for a long time. He thought about the queen and her endless questions. He thought about and her warning. He thought about his ship, sitting in a royal hangar, waiting to take him back to his simple life. He could try to escape, but he knew would just bring him back. He could stay and answer her questions, but he knew she would never be satisfied. He was trapped, not by chains or walls, but by the attention of a queen who found him fascinating. And the worst part was, he was starting to find her fascinating too. Not in a romantic way, but in the way you might find a hurricane fascinating, beautiful and terrible, impossible to look away from, dangerous to get too close to. That night he made a decision. He would not run. He would not hide. He would be exactly what he was, a stubborn human who refused to be collected. If the queen wanted to understand humanity, he would show her, all of it, the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly. And maybe, just maybe, she would learn something that could change everything. Or maybe she would destroy him. Either way, it would not be boring. Commander had served the queen for 700 years. He had fought in wars that humans could not imagine. He had killed enemies that would give humans nightmares. He was the greatest warrior the Empire had ever produced. And he hated Ho. He watched the human walk through the palace like he belonged there. He watched the queen smile at this primitive creature like he was something special. He watched follow him with worried eyes like he was worth protecting. It made him sick. Believed in order, in tradition, in the natural way of things, were superior. Humans were insects. That was the truth of the universe. The queen's fascination with this human was a disease. Someone needed to cure it. He planned carefully. The queen would be angry if he simply killed the human, so he needed a different approach, something legal, something traditional, something the human could not survive. The accusation came on a quiet morning. Ho was eating breakfast when guards surrounded him. They put chains on his wrists before he could speak. Ho, the lead guard said, you are accused of espionage against the Empire. What? Ho's food fell from his hands. That is insane. I have done nothing. Evidence has been found. You will face judgment. They dragged him to a great hall filled with nobles. The queen sat on a high throne, her face unreadable, stood nearby, her hands shaking. Commander stood in the center of the hall, a cold smile on his face. I present the evidence, said. He held up a small device. This was found in the human's quarters. It is a data collector. It has been recording conversations and transmitting them to human space. Ho stared at the device. He had never seen it before in his life. That is not mine, he said. Of course you would say that. The smile grew wider. But the evidence speaks for itself. This human has been spying on us from the beginning. His rescue of the princess was a trick to gain access to our world. The nobles murmured among themselves. Many nodded. They had never trusted the human. This was the proof they needed. This is a lie, stepped forward. Ho saved my life, he would never. Silence, princess. Did not even look at her. You are too close to this matter. Your judgment cannot be trusted. Queen raised her hand. The room went quiet. The evidence is serious, she said. Her voice showed no emotion. But every accused has the right to defend themselves. Human, how do you answer these charges? Ho looked at the queen. He could not read her face. Did she believe him? Did she doubt him? He could not tell. I did not do this, he said clearly. That device was planted in my room. I am being framed. Framed by whom? Laughed. Do you accuse a loyal commander of the Empire? I accuse whoever put that device in my room. Stepped closer to him. You have no proof. You have nothing but words. In law, that is not enough. Then what is enough? Smiled like a wolf. There is one way for an accused to prove their innocence. An ancient tradition, trial by combat. The hall gasped. Even the queen's eyes widened slightly. "You would invoke the old ways?" she asked. "The human claims he is innocent. Let him prove it with his body. If he survives, he is innocent. If he falls, he is guilty." Drew himself up proudly. "I will be his opponent." Everyone knew what this meant. Was the greatest warrior alive. He had never lost a fight. For him to challenge a human was not justice. It was murder. Ho understood this. He saw the trap, wanted to kill him legally. If he refused to fight, he would be declared guilty and executed anyway. If he accepted, he would die in combat. But he also saw something else, a chance. "I accept," he said. The hall erupted. Nobles shouted, cried out. Even the queen leaned forward. "Ho no," pushed through the crowd. "You cannot fight him, he will kill you." "Probably," Ho agreed. "But I did not do this. I will not die a spy. I will die fighting." Smile faltered for just a moment. He had expected the human to beg, to cry, to refuse, not to accept with calm eyes. The combat was set for that evening. The arena was a circular pit, ancient and sacred. Thousands came to watch. Most expected to see a quick execution. A few were curious about how the human would die. Ho was given a simple weapon, a metal staff, wielded a blade that had killed hundreds. The difference was clear. They faced each other in the center of the pit, looked like a god of war. Ho looked like a man who fixed engines for a living. "Any last words, human?" asked. Ho rolled his shoulders. "Yeah, you fight dirty for someone who talks about tradition." The fight began. Moved like lightning. His blade sang through the air, aimed at Ho's throat. Any other opponent would have died in that first second. Ho dropped to the ground. The blade passed over his head. He rolled away and scrambled to his feet, turned and attacked again, and again, and again. Ho did not try to match him. He could not, was faster, stronger, and more skilled. But Ho had something else. He had spent his whole life in dangerous places. Salvage yards where one mistake meant death. Engine rooms where fire could erupt at any moment. He knew how to survive. He dodged, he ran, he used every part of the arena. When cornered him, he threw sand in the commander's eyes. When charged, Ho tripped him with his staff. It was not elegant, it was not honorable, it was not how fought. The crowd watched in shock. The human was still alive, more than alive. He was making their greatest warrior look foolish. Grew angry, his attacks became wild, less precise. Ho used this. He faked an injury, pretending his leg was hurt, saw weakness and charged in for the kill. Ho dropped his axe and swung his staff with all his strength. It connected with his jaw. The crack echoed through the arena. Stumbled, for the first time in 700 years, someone had hit him. "How?" he spat blood. "How are you still standing?" "Humans are hard to kill," Ho said. His body was covered in cuts. His ribs were probably broken, but he was still standing. "We do not know when to quit." Attacked again. This time he held nothing back. His blade moved too fast to see. Ho blocked some strikes. Others cut through his clothes, his skin. Blood flew. Finally caught him. The blade sliced across Ho's chest. He fell to his knees. Stood over him, breathing hard. Blood dripped from his own face where Ho had hit him. "It is over," he said. Ho looked up at him. Then, impossibly, he laughed. "What is funny, human?" "You," Ho coughed blood. 700 years of training, the greatest warrior in the galaxy, and I hit you. A garbage collector hit you." He pushed himself up. His legs shook, his vision blurred, but he stood. "I am not done." Stared at him, something like fear flickered in his eyes. Not fear of losing, fear of something he did not understand. He swung his blade again. Ho moved his head. The blade missed by a hair. Ho head-butted him. The impact was like a bomb going off. Both of them saw stars, both of them staggered, but Ho had expected the pain. He grabbed his arm and bit down on his wrist, hard. Screamed and dropped his blade. They fell together, rolling in the dirt, fighting like animals. No skill, no technique, just two beings trying to destroy each other. Was still stronger. He pinned Ho down, his hands wrapped around the human's throat. Die, he hissed. Ho's vision darkened. He could feel death coming. Then a voice rang out. Enough. Queen stood at the edge of the arena. Her voice was quiet, but it carried power that made everything stop. This combat is over. Looked up, he has not fallen, the law says. The law says he must be defeated. He has not been defeated, he is still fighting. Walked into the arena. Her dress trailed through the blood and dirt. Release him. Hesitated. For a moment it looked like he might refuse, but then he saw the queen's eyes. Cold, ancient, final. He released Ho and stood. He proved nothing, spat. He lost. Did he? Looked at the commander, at his bloody face, his bitten wrist, his torn clothes. Then she looked at Ho, who was pulling himself up again, still standing. He proved exactly what I wanted to see. She smiled that strange smile. Commander, you are dismissed. Report to the outer stations. You will serve there for the next 50 years. His face twisted with rage, but he bowed. Yes, my queen. As he left, he looked at Ho with pure hatred. This was not over. Rushed to Ho's side. Doctors followed. They began treating his wounds immediately. You are insane, said. Tears ran down her face. Completely insane. Ho smiled through broken lips. I know. The queen stood over him. Everyone else kept their distance. You could not win, she said quietly. You knew that. Why did you keep fighting? Ho looked up at her. His eyes were tired but clear. Because sometimes winning is not the point. Sometimes you just have to show that you will not stay down, no matter what. Studied him for a long moment. Then she laughed, a real laugh, warm and surprised. You are the strangest creature I have ever met, Ho. I get that a lot. They carried him to the medical wing. He would spend weeks healing, but he had survived. More than survived. He had shown an empire what humans were made of. It was not strength. It was not skill. It was something simpler and stranger. Stubbornness, pure, stupid, beautiful stubbornness. And as the queen watched them carry him away, she realized she wanted to understand that stubbornness more than anything else in the universe. Ho healed slowly. Medicine was advanced, but even it could not fix everything at once. His body needed time, so he spent his days in a quiet room, looking out at the crystal spires of the palace. Visited every day. She brought him food and stories. She told him about her childhood, about growing up in a palace where everyone watched her every move. She told him about her dreams of exploring the galaxy, of seeing things no had ever seen. Why did you become so interested in humans? Ho asked one day. Smiled. When I was young, I found an old recording, a human musician playing something called a guitar. I did not understand the sounds. They were rough, imperfect, nothing like music. She looked out the window. But there was something in it, something alive. I watched that recording 100 times trying to understand. Did you? No, and that is why I wanted to meet a human someday, to ask them about that aliveness. She turned to him. Then I met you, and I think I understand now. What do you understand? That the aliveness comes from the imperfection. You humans are never finished. You are always reaching for something, always struggling, and that struggle is beautiful. Ho did not know what to say. He was just a salvage worker. He had never thought about struggle being beautiful. It was just life. But before he could respond, the door opened. Queen stood in the doorway. She wore simple clothes, no crown, no jewelry. She looked like a normal woman, almost. Leave us, she said too. Hesitated. She looked at Ho with worried eyes. It is fine, he said. Go. She left slowly, looking back until the door closed behind her. Walked to the window and stood there for a long time. The light of the 3 suns played across her face. She looked tired, ancient, sad. I have something to tell you, she said finally. Something I have never told anyone outside the royal family. Ho waited. He had learned that with the queen, patience was important. The empire is dying. The words hung in the air like smoke. I do not understand, Ho said. Turned to face him. Her golden eyes were heavy with something he had never seen before. Grief. We have been dying for centuries. Our birth rates are falling. Each generation is smaller than the last. In 500 years we will be gone. Ho sat up despite the pain. But you have the most advanced technology in the galaxy. You have medicine that can do anything. How? Technology cannot fix this. Sat in a chair across from him. Suddenly she did not look like a queen. She looked like a woman carrying an impossible weight. We have tried everything. Genetic treatments, fertility programs, nothing works. Why not? Because the problem is not physical, it is spiritual. She closed her eyes. We perfected ourselves, Ho. That is our sin. Thousands of years ago we decided that imperfection was weakness, so we removed it. We edited our genes. We trained our emotions. We built a civilization without chaos. That sounds like a good thing. It should have been, but life needs chaos. Life needs struggle. Life needs failure. She opened her eyes. Without these things, life has no reason to continue. Our bodies have decided that we are finished, complete, perfect, and so they have stopped making more of us. Ho thought about this. It was hard to believe. This seemed so powerful, so eternal. The idea that they were fading away was difficult to accept. Why are you telling me this? Leaned forward. Because humans are the opposite of us. You are chaos. You are struggle. You are imperfection. And you are the most alive species we have ever encountered. I am just one person. You are more than that. You are proof. She stood and began to pace. When you cut through metal for 6 hours to save my daughter, you were struggling. When you fought raiders with no weapons, you were surviving. When you stood against even though you could not win, you were refusing to accept defeat. She stopped and looked at him directly. These things should not matter. They are inefficient, illogical, a waste of energy, but they make you alive in a way we have forgotten how to be. What do you want from me? Was quiet for a moment. When she spoke again, her voice was different, softer, more vulnerable. I am not speaking as a queen now. I am speaking as a woman who has watched her people slowly disappear for 1,000 years. She sat on the edge of his bed, close, too close for a queen. I want you to stay, not as a servant, not as a prisoner, as something else. What else? A partner, a teacher, a reminder of what we have lost. She reached out and touched his hand. Her skin was cool and smooth. Show us how to struggle again. Show us how to want things badly enough to bleed for them. Show us how to be alive. Ho looked at her hand on his. He looked at her face, ancient and beautiful and desperately sad. He understood now why she had been so fascinated by him. It was not curiosity. It was hope. I am not a teacher, he said. I am barely educated. I fix machines and collect garbage. That is exactly why you are perfect. Almost smiled. A professor would give us theories. A politician would give us words, but you would show us by being yourself. Outside the door listened. She had not gone far. She had heard everything. Her mother's confession, her mother's plea, her mother's offer. She did not know how to feel. Part of her was relieved that the truth was finally spoken. Part of her was afraid of what it meant. And part of her, a small part, was jealous. She had brought Ho here. She had found him first. He had saved her life. And now her mother wanted to take him away. But she could not be angry. She could not be selfish. Not when her entire species was dying. She walked away into the garden and sat among the glowing flowers. She thought about the human who had changed everything, who had shown her that imperfection was beautiful, who had taught her more about living in a few weeks than she had learned in her entire life. She wanted him to stay. She wanted him to choose her. But she would not ask, because that was not what Ho had taught her. He had taught her that the right thing was sometimes simply the right thing, that wanting was not enough. So she sat in the garden and waited to see what he would choose. Back in the room, Ho looked at the queen. He saw her hope, her desperation, her strange, ancient love for her dying people. He also saw her danger, her power, her ability to take what she wanted. "If I stay," he said slowly, "it has to be on my terms." "What terms?" "I will not be owned, I will not be displayed, I will not be a pet in your collection." He met her eyes firmly. "I am a human being. That means I do my own thing in my own way. If you cannot accept that, then I leave tomorrow." Studied him. For a long moment he thought she might refuse, might order him to stay anyway. She had the power. But then she laughed, that real laugh again, the one that surprised everyone. "You negotiate with queens like you negotiate with junk dealers. It is the same skill." She stood and walked to the door. Before she left, she looked back at him. "I accept your terms, Ho. Teach us to be alive again, in your own way." She left. Ho lay back on his bed. He stared at the ceiling. He thought about what he had just agreed to. He was going to teach an ancient empire how to struggle, how to fail, how to be messy and chaotic and imperfect. He did not know if it was possible. He did not know if it would work. But he knew one thing. It was the most interesting job offer he had ever received. And he had never been good at turning down interesting things. Weeks passed. Ho healed completely. The scars on his body became reminders of the fight he had survived. Some looked at those scars with disgust. Others looked with something close to respect. He walked through the palace freely now. No guards followed him. No chains waited for him. The queen had given her word, and even those who hated him could not touch him. But he was not happy. Every night he stood on his balcony and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there was his ship, his old life, the quiet emptiness of space that he used to love. He missed it. He missed the freedom of going where he wanted, the simplicity of finding broken things and fixing them, the silence that asked nothing of him. Here, everyone wanted something. The queen wanted him to save her people. The nobles wanted him gone. The servants looked at him like he was a puzzle they could not solve. Only wanted nothing from him. She just wanted him to be himself. They met often in the garden. They talked about small things, human foods he missed, customs that confused him, music they both loved. One evening, asked the question that had been growing between them. "What will you do?" Ho watched a glowing flower open in the fading light. "I do not know." "My mother wants you to stay, to become." She stopped. The word was hard to say. "Her partner, I know." "Is that what you want?" Ho looked at her. She was trying to hide her feelings, but he could see them. The hope, the fear, the jealousy she was ashamed of. "I do not know what I want," he said honestly. "A few months ago I was alone in space, happy with my small life. Now I am in a palace being asked to save an empire. It is a lot. You could leave, I would not stop you." "Your mother would." Shook her head. "Not if I asked her not to. She owes you my life. She would listen." Ho was surprised. "You would help me escape." "If that is what you wanted, if staying here made you unhappy." She looked away. "Your happiness matters more than what my people need." It was such a human thing to say. Ho had not expected it from a princess. He reached out and took her hand. She froze, her eyes wide. "I am not going to run," he said, "but I am also not going to do what your mother expects." "What do you mean?" "I mean I am going to do this my way, the human way," he smiled. "Come with me, there is something I need to say to your mother." They found Queen in her throne room, surrounded by advisors discussing trade agreements. When she saw Ho approach, she dismissed them all with a wave. "You look serious," she said. "Have you made a decision?" "I have." Ho walked until he stood at the base of her throne, not bowing, not kneeling, just standing like a man with something to say. but it is not the decision you expect. Raised an eyebrow, go on. You asked me to stay as your partner, to help you save your people, to teach them how to struggle. He took a breath. I cannot do that. The Queen's face did not change, but something flickered in her eyes. Disappointment, maybe hurt. I see you wish to leave. No, I wish to do something different. Ho began to pace. He always thought better when he moved. You want me to teach how to be human, but that is impossible. You are not human. You never will be. Pretending otherwise would be a lie. Then what do you suggest? An exchange, not me teaching you, both of us learning from each other. He stopped and faced her. Humans go to space, go to human space. We work together, we build together, we fail together. Frowned, you want to mix our species. I want to give both species something new. You need our chaos, but maybe we need some of your order. We are young and stupid, and we make terrible mistakes. You have thousands of years of wisdom. He spread his hands. Alone, we both have problems. Together, maybe we can find solutions. This is not what I asked for. I know, but it is what I am offering. Ho met her eyes without fear. You can reject it. You can keep me here by force. You can execute me for disrespect, but that will not give you what you want. That will just prove that you have learned nothing. The throne room was completely silent. Even the guards seemed to hold their breath. Queen stood. She walked down the steps slowly until she stood face to face with Ho. This close, he could see the lines in her face that makeup could not hide, the weight of centuries in her eyes. You are proposing an alliance, she said. Yes. On equal terms. Yes. Humans are not our equals. Your technology is primitive. Yours is short. Your civilization is barely begun. True, but we are still standing. We are still growing. We are still alive. Ho did not back down. That has to count for something. Studied him for a long time. Her face was impossible to read. She could be angry. She could be amused. She could be planning his death. Then she smiled, that real smile that had shocked her court before. And then she laughed. It was not a small laugh this time. It was full and warm and surprised. It filled the throne room. Guards stared. Servants dropped things. This was not behavior anyone expected from the ancient queen. You are impossible, she said through her laughter. Absolutely impossible. I offer you a throne beside mine, and you counter with a trade agreement. A partnership agreement. Thrones give me a headache. Laughed again. She could not seem to stop. Years of control, centuries of perfect composure, broken by a human salvage worker who refused to play by the rules. Fine, she said finally, catching her breath. Fine, we will try your way and exchange, humans and learning from each other. She shook her head in amazement. My advisors will hate this. Good, they need to learn to hate things. It is healthy. Stepped forward. She had been watching in silence, hardly daring to hope. Mother, you agree. Looked at her daughter, then at Ho, then back at her daughter. Understanding passed between them. I agree on one condition. She turned back to Ho. You will be the first ambassador. You will live here at least part of the time. You will be the bridge between our peoples. I can accept that. And you will walk with me in my garden sometimes and answer my questions. Her voice softened. I still wish to understand you, even if I cannot own you. Ho nodded. I can accept that too. Then we have an agreement. Extended her hand. A human gesture. She must have learned it from watching him. Ho shook her hand. Her grip was cool and firm. You are the strangest creature I have ever encountered, Ho, she said. Probably will not be the last human to give you trouble. She smiled. I certainly hope not. The next months were busy. Messages flew between space and human space. Diplomats screamed. Politicians panicked. Both species were terrified of what this alliance might mean. But slowly, carefully, it began to work. Human engineers came to learn technology. Scientists came to study human creativity. Artists exchanged ideas. Musicians shared songs. Children on both sides grew up hearing stories about the other species. It was messy. It was chaotic. It was full of mistakes and misunderstandings. It was alive. Ho became a symbol, the human who had stood against everything and refused to fall. Some people him. Some people hated him. Most were simply confused by him. He did not care. He was too busy. One evening, he walked through the royal garden with on one side and on the other. The three suns were setting, painting the sky in colors that did not exist on Earth. "Do you regret it?" asked, "giving up the simple life?" Ho thought about his old ship, his quiet days, the emptiness he used to love. "Sometimes," he admitted, "but then I remember why I am here. Not because someone asked me, not because I had to, because a princess was trapped and she needed help." "That was so long ago now," said. "So much has changed." "But that is still the reason. Everything else came from that one moment." He looked at both of them. "Humans do not plan great things. We just do small things over and sometimes they become great." "That is a very strange philosophy," said. "It is a human philosophy." They walked in silence for a while. The garden sang around them. The stars began to appear. "Thank you," said quietly, "for saving me, for saving us." "I did not save anyone. I just helped. The saving is up to you." Took his hand, took the other. The ancient queen and the young princess connected through a human who had wanted nothing but did everything. "Then help us," said. "Keep helping us for as long as you can." Ho looked at the stars, his stars now in a strange way, the stars of a new future that he had helped create. "That," he said, "is a job I can do." They stood together in the garden as night fell. Three beings from two different worlds, bound by something stronger than blood or politics. Hope. The hope that two species could learn from each other. The hope that perfection was not the goal. The hope that being alive, truly alive, was about struggle and failure and getting up again. It was a very human hope. And maybe, just maybe, it would be enough.